Here's a question. Here's an actual, for real, honest to God question. Why are children so much better at comedy than we can ever be?
I've been here for 5 minutes and you've had 2 direct critical hits.
Do not drink Raspberry Rehab Monster after eating raw garlic and then covering your face and breathing into a mask all night.
I'm sorry.
All right, so 3, 2, 1.
Jesus,
I wasn't ready.
None
yet.
of us were recording yet.
What? Why not? The people
Because
who
you
record for
took
12
20
minutes
minutes. You
before
took the
anyone
last
even
half an hour getting
opens
ready.
But then I said I was ready and recording.
All right,
You said you were ready. You did not say you were rolling.
I did say I was recording.
All right, I'm ready.
So I said I'm going to name the episode, and then I said the name of the episode out loud, and I said, I'm recording. All right,
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Do you want to open up with your story?
I don't know anymore.
Welcome back to Off the Air, where we don't know anymore.
What a shitty way to start an episode. No, you got to start nicer than that, Dan. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, Dan.
No.
Yeah, put out a cold open, but make it like a real one, you know?
No. I'm not a monkey that dances for your amusement.
And dance for your own amusement.
No.
Also, you did you are on an internet entertainment show. I don't want to say that you're dancing for our amusement, but you did volunteer to dance for amusement. Like, that is something you did sign up for.
No, that doesn't sound right.
No. Oh, my mistake. I must
I
be
can see why
wrong.
you'd be confused, though.
I'm still waiting on Dan's cold open.
Oh, I'm not cold opening. That's all I got, dude. I have not done a cold open since we started this show.
That's why I'm waiting.
Haven't you?
I don't do cold opens, man. I'm not good at them.
Are you?
No time like the present.
Sure?
If I have done, I've done maybe 1 or 2, but I don't
used
do
to-
them because I don't think I'm very good at them, and I don't want to learn to get good at them by practicing in a setting that it's going to still be going out to people. Does that make sense?
I feel like half of my cold opens get thrown out. I feel like 3/4 of what I said, no, it just doesn't put in the episode, and
Just
that's a good thing.
overall, the things you like in an entire
Yes.
episode, 3/4 of your content is gone.
This is
I
correct.
can neither confirm nor deny. Well, if you guys don't have anything to say, then I'm just gonna plug something real quick here. My band, y'all might remember my band that I quit back in December. Or I guess I quit back in August or September, but it's not important. I am doing a show with them on Thursday, the whatever Thursday is.
So you mean the day this comes out?
Yes, tonight,
So
8 p.m.
the early
EST.
listener special.
All you need to do to watch this show, and I am not just plugging this so you can watch me play. There's more to it than this. Watch the show, 8 p.m. EST, Basement Transmissions Erie PA Facebook page. They're going to be doing the live stream of the event, I believe. Either that or the event page, one of the two. I don't really know the full details. But I'm going to be donating all the money that I am going to get from the event to. I haven't actually picked which cause yet, but one of the BLM supported causes on the donation card. I'm sure you guys have seen that one floating around.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know
My
which
2
one.
cents. My 2 cents.
Yeah,
Pick one near a causeway. That's all I got. That's my only sway I have towards you.
pick one. What?
Near a
Near-
causeway.
He's back
Near
on the
Causeway.
causeway
it's,
thing.
it's a cause and a causeway, and you can really just double down at that point. You get to say the same word twice, and that's kind of cool. And you're
You know-
still, helping a good cause.
There we go.
And near a good causeway.
So that's the tentative hope right now, but it's the entire payment that I'm getting is donation based. I don't actually know how much I'm gonna get paid. So the more people that attend and donate, the more that I'm gonna be able to donate from my take to what's going on. So yeah. Tonight.
I also don't think it's a necessarily a selfish, I guess, selfless. I'm not really sure how this would apply here, but also if you don't donate to the actual performance, you can always just directly donate. Like Noah said, there's a donation card going around. There's plenty of places that can use your funds. Make sure that you pick something that means a lot to you. There's there are some that are overfunded, but that's not the worst thing that can happen to an organization. There's lots of Black Lives Matter movements all over that you can.
And the
donate
ones
to.
that are overfunded are tending to reach out and say, hey, actually, could you please direct your funds toward, and then they have other organizations that they are trying to point money at. So
Yeah, for sure. Definitely you check them out. There's lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. Not to.
And also watch Noah's show.
Yeah, exactly. So heck, dude, even if you want to donate directly, you can still tune in and watch the show because it should be fun. I hope it's fun. Knock on wood, it'll be a fun time. I haven't played with these guys in ages, which I would actually like to talk about a little bit.
Well, before you do, I have a question about the show. So are you guys playing remotely, or are you guys going to be together?
We will be together. If you've been to
because I was thinking about like
Basement Transmissions in Erie, I believe the show is in the back room, and they have it.
Okay, so it is actually on the premise. Like you guys are
we
going
will
to be
on the premise, but we will not be playing to an audience. It will be only the band and the light and sound people.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to enjoy, because I have seen some of the other videos that they have posted. These are actual like really good quality streams that they've been doing. They've been advertising them as studio quality, and I'm not gonna lie, they really are. I would really say, hey, just check it out. It's gonna be a fun time. It'll be, I don't know, 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes long, live music, bluesy rock.
I'll be there. I'll be playing.
Yeah, I'll be there. If
that's not true, I just want to put that on there. I will not be playing.
Really? Oh, I gotta get back to the guys.
Well, I mean, to be fair though,
because they thought you were.
I was gonna say, to be fair, they have been going through so many bass replacements. I might be on the short list.
Borderline could be, and that is actually exactly what I wanted to talk about.
That's why I transitioned.
So here's the thing:
set you up.
I don't want to be mean to any of my any of my former band members. There's nothing. I'm not going to get anything out of like being mean to them. But here's the thing. Now. I am concerned at how many bass players that they have turned over. So when I quit, they had a guy who was coming in. I'm not going to drop any names on this one because people who know, and people who don't, it's not actually important. But this dude came in, and the first time I met him, he was drinking a lot, and he was hopping into the bathroom a lot. And I'm like, is this guy on coke? Like, if he is, whatever, ruin your life, live your life, do whatever you want, right? But like, I knew that the singer isn't really down with that. So I asked everyone before they hired him on, I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, I get bad vibes. I think he's on drugs. If that's what you guys want to deal with, then that's up to you. But like, it's up to you.
Did I meet this guy?
You didn't.
Is this the guy I met?
I don't think you met this guy.
I met one of them.
If you met one of them, then this was probably the guy.
He like played partially in the set the night when I was there.
Yep.
At the place.
Yep.
Okay, so I did meet the guy then.
Yeah, he played like
it was interesting.
4 songs, and that was about it. So whatever.
I gave him a chicken wing.
As it turns out,
and then he said he would never. Forget.
As it turns out, he does coke, and he got kicked out of the band for that. Also, he was a bad bassist. He was not good. That's okay. And then they replaced him.
Would you say that he was basic? I'm sorry. Continue your story.
How dare you? He is a talented guitarist, and I don't know why he was trying to sign on as our bassist. I think he was just trying to get into a semi-successful band quickly.
Any port in a storm.
Exactly. So then he was replaced by the Ass Man.
Yeah.
And I mean, Ass Man didn't even play one show. He flipped his lid after the band got reports of him being a terrible bandmate. And they're like, hey, we just want to verify these rumors and come to you about them rather than just believe what we hear. And he was like, how dare you not believe me? What the hell is your problem? And he, flipped his lid like everyone said that he was off.
This is the guy that we've dragged semi-publicly before.
We have dragged this man semi-publicly before. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the name only.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny name.
It's the only thing worth remembering. Ass Man is a funny name, and then you just kind of move on from there. But then they got a new guy, and he worked evenings and was in 2 other bands. So he never practiced with the band. He was in the band for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a full month before he quit, saying it wasn't really what he was after. Once he got some like live tracks to practice along with, he was like, actually, no, never mind. I don't think this is what I'm after. And I learned yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Like, we're talking not very long ago. Geez, Motorcycle Man, shut your freaking noise. I learned that they got a friend of mine playing, and this girl's great. I think she would be mostly a good fit in the band. And then I learned that night, after I confirmed that she was in the band, I'm like, hey, good for you guys. I'm happy. I see the guitarist's wife post on Facebook, hey, anyone want to be in a really good band? Contact me. Or play bass in a really cool band. And I'm like, oh no, they got rid of her already. I just learned about her.
Do we know what happened with her? I'm genuinely fascinated by this.
So when she left, hers was a very, very valid reason. She did not want to get back into drinking. She's been clean for a few years, and the band plays a lot of bar shows.
You know what? That is
I respect the shit out of that.
That's understandable. Yeah. How long was she with the band though? Was this like just like a couple days?
She was with the band for a little while. I don't think she was with the band for too long.
did the band like not tell her that they play a lot of bar shows, or was she just like on the fence and was like, I'll join?
I think she was on the
Or, like,
fence because
okay, as long as they didn't like withhold this information from her, being like, well, we need a bassist.
No. I don't think
nobody
they
tell her.
I don't think they withheld any information. I think pretty much what ended up happening is that she signed on as like a jam bass player, like just to do some stuff with them during the quarantine and everything.
Yeah, jamming.
And that they she was like, I guess she also has carpal tunnel. So she was
Ooh,
like,
yeah, that sucks.
exactly. So she's
I
like,
feel that.
yeah,
I feel
so,
that.
you know, with my carpal tunnel and with how I really don't want to play bar shows, I realized that this was not the band for me, but I really hope they find someone soon. I'm like, you know what? Me too. I also really hope they find someone soon. And
then you got a DM.
and that's where we're at now. I'm playing with them again for the CD release show and this one virtual show because they don't have a bassist. And I'm gonna be honest, I think it's both really sad and really funny.
It's very funny.
Because I feel...
I remember you leaving the band over the period of like 8 months.
Yeah, it was like from September until the end of December. And I did not expect to play until the end of December. I expected to play through like maybe November because they already had a guy so quickly. And I'm like, oh, well, cool. We'll get him right in. And he delayed joining the band for so long that I was playing the show. What was it? Like Christmas weekend, the day or the weekend after Christmas.
I remember that. I was there for that one.
Yeah, I played that show and he's just like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I'm you know, looking forward to having you here for this last thing. And I'm like, this is the last thing. And then I played after they kicked him out before their next show in mid-January or the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that show too with a
I do remember going to your last show 3 times.
Yep. My last quote unquote show in January, I had the flu and I played with a fever of 103.
I do remember that as well.
Ooh, I was up there in a mask and I don't remember anything that happened except for the fact that do not drink Raspberry Rehab Monster after eating raw garlic and then covering your face and breathing into a mask all night.
I'm sorry. There are so many questions here.
Okay, so I was...
Why?
Okay,
He
so
drank an
firstly,
energy drink and he ate garlic.
So firstly, I was wearing a mask.
And he was sick.
Because I was very sick and I did not want to get
you
anyone
did the
sick.
thing you're supposed to do. Yes.
And I was drinking Monster for the first time in freaking ages because I needed the energy to maintain any sort of stage presence through the show.
Also
Yes.
because he was sick.
Yeah.
So where are there so many questions then?
Yeah. That
the
seemed really
garlic is mostly the question here.
Oh.
So you have a question and it's why did you eat garlic?
It's mostly the raw garlic in addition to the Monster. Because
Okay.
you shouldn't drink Monster while you're sick. From experience, it does not help.
That's why I drink the rehabs because they give me energy and they don't dehydrate you. Not in the same way.
Okay.
And I ate raw garlic because raw garlic is supposed to be good for you. It's a lot of like, when you talk about eating raw garlic being good for you, you stray really heavily into like holistic medicine. And there's elements that I agree with and there's elements that I do not agree with.
Yes.
But you had garlic and it was a non-zero chance.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? I have garlic here. You crush it, you let it develop some of the allicin, and then you eat it. It is better if you chew it. Usually, if I were to do that, I would crush it, let it sit, and then swallow it like a pill, if it's a small enough clove, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this time, I could not do that, so I ate it, and my breath reeked of Raspberry Monster and garlic, which was not helping me feel better whatsoever.
I couldn't
Yeah, that sounds
imagine
pretty
why.
bad.
Also, just, you know, I realized I've been the one to talk most of this episode. I guess I'm just making up for not talking at all during Jess's episode last week, which,
Yeah.
shout out to Jess. That was a trip of an episode to listen back through as I edited it. It was so freaking good.
It was really fun, but I do feel like I talked over Jess a lot, and just on accident, because, no offense, but I feel like a lot of times when there's like a brief pause, I'm like, okay, I gotta say something or else it'll go on for a couple seconds. And that's no dig on you guys. I think that's just like the dynamic we created. But Jess is also really good at that.
Yes.
So it's just like when there was a half a second silence, both of us were like, time to talk.
Yeah.
So it worked out well, but like it also ended up accommodating like both of us starting points at the same time. So I felt really rude, but then I was also,
Nah, it's okay.
you know,
He understood. It was all good. Yeah.
very fun episode. Very cool guy.
Jess, stand-up dude. His tattoo shop is opening up on Monday, so tomorrow for us,
Fun.
3 days ago for everyone else.
I do
Ooh.
really want to get a new tattoo,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I want to get, and the one that I want to get the most. You know, it's just it's a whole situation. We won't talk about it.
Well, I mean, if you have racist tattoos or police cult tattoos or sex worker tattoos,
none of those were things I was going to get. Actually,
no, he covers them up for free. He's offering free cover-ups for those.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking me if I wanted to get one of those.
No.
And I was going to say no. Actually, no. I am none of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he is offering free cover-ups for those, even with having to work around actually opening up again. So
yeah, that's super neat. Very, very. I mean, I've heard of other places that do cover-ups for not necessarily free, but like that specialize in cover-ups for like racist tattoos. There was like a shop in Austin that would do it. They had like a set price, and it was very low. It was like $30. It was basically just the cost of, and maybe not even the cost of the materials, depending on the situation. But they would just like cover up anything really shitty.
And I respect that a lot, you know, because there's a lot of people that will not, like, you know, their conscience doesn't kick in and they will take your money and give you, you know, a swastika tattoo or something really awful like that, you know?
Yeah. They are disappearing though. Like it is becoming way less common to find someone who will do that.
Makes me really happy.
Because I mean, most every like public tattoo shop won't do it. So I feel like a lot of it's got to be from some public and really shitty tattoo joints.
Yeah.
Or just like your other racist friend who has a machine. That's right. I didn't say gun.
Exactly.
Mostly because if I said your racist friend who has a gun, that's an oxymoron. No, but a tattoo machine. I'm learning.
Yeah, I remember.
Hater said I couldn't.
Way back when, just told me that because he would never do like actual hate symbols, but he had a kid come in one day, and for this kid, he wanted for his very first tattoo to be a big pentagram on the back of his hand. And Jess was like, no, I'm not going to do that for your first tattoo. I'm not making your first tattoo be something so divisive and so public. No.
Yeah.
He ended up seeing that kid walking around town, you know, later that week with that tattoo on the back of his hand. Someone else did not care that much. So it got to the point where he's like, all right, you know what? I will do things like that, but I get to choose where they go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to let
that
you...
pentagram might be on that kid's arm.
Exactly. It's going to be one of those things where like you can't hide them, because if this is something you believe in so much, then you should wear it proud. And if if you don't agree with that, maybe you're not actually that into committing to whatever, you know, edge boy thing that you really want to do.
Yeah.
You know, cool things. So what's been up with you guys?
Tattooed on my hand. So I've got a tail.
Ooh.
A swashbuckling tail.
Swashbuckling tail.
So a friend of mine from high school, now that you know, Erie County has gotten out of, you know, the red phase, and we're not quite green. I think we're like yellow still.
Yeah, we're almost
but a lot
green.
of things are opening up. You know, like you can go outdoor businesses, and I mean most businesses have been open the whole time, but just like mask mandatory, obviously. But a lot of more places are opening up, and gatherings are becoming more acceptable and all that stuff. So one of my friends had a fire to celebrate.
Nice.
The day that it opened up, you know, like the Friday that it opened, he was like, hey, it's Friday night, gonna have a little fire. We'll have like, you know, 8 or 9 people over. But anyway, I was like, cool. I haven't talked to this guy much in the past couple of years. I hope he's doing well. We used to be really good buddies in high school. I'll go to the fire. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And so the thing about telling the story is that there's no real way. I can't drop the bomb that the story was to me. I can't replicate the feeling to you guys because of the way that the story takes place in 2 parts, and I have to tell them separate, and then it'll obviously give away the joint position.
Okay.
So let's roll back time. Before the fire, before fire was created, before Prometheus descended from the heavens, Stegosaurus hates my guts. Okay, no, so actually back to fall. So the fall semester, I had a class. It was digital media design. It was a fun little class. You know, you did digital media design, a lot of creative cloud work and arranging of things for like different kind of websites and newspaper layouts and all that good stuff. So that's what the class was. And there's a girl in the class who was very much your like, there's been kind of like me, but not cool in that like if 5 seconds went by and the class was just quiet and like working on something, it was like, boom, I got to get attention now.
Yeah.
So whereas I do it in the podcast and am cool, this was like in the middle of like quiet working time. It's just very like attention grabby, and there's nothing wrong with that because literally that's who I am also. But yeah, it also very like annoying. Would always like if you like were to like tell a story to the person sitting next to you, be like, oh, you know, like the other night I went out with some friends. We went like skateboarding. She'd be like, I went longboarding yesterday, and I went like 20 miles, and it was super cool, and like everyone thought I was the best at it. And you're like, why? Why?
Oh,
it was like that. Where it's just like if you're telling a story, not even like she'd always have to like get a 1-up in there, and it would like butt in and be like kind of just like rude about it. And And so I go to my friend's house who I haven't seen in years, and I go to hang out with him. And she also was always talking about her boyfriend.
Okay.
Oh, no.
And, all these like great stories about her boyfriend. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, it couldn't be me, but to each their own. So then I show up to my friend's house, and he's like, this is my girlfriend, by the way, and introduces me to that girl from my class. And I'm like, hey, yeah, we've met. And then she said, yeah, we've met. And then she told me I was really bald. And then like 2 seconds later, she was saying something really mean to my friend. And I was like, hey, Josh, you don't have to like do that. You're allowed to like not, be picked on by someone who you're supposed to, have a positive relationship, because it wasn't like lighthearted jest. It was just like actual like
mean
micro
things.
manipulation.
Oh.
And then she was like, well, you look like someone who's been single. I was like, why
Why would you
hit me
say
like
that?
I've been here for 5 minutes and you've had 2 direct critical hits.
Wow.
You told me I was bald and then that I look like I've been single. Both are true. But still.
But like, it
Doesn't make it
also
okay.
like, there are things that are true, and then there are things that you have to say, and the overlap is surprisingly small.
Yeah, so it was just like really awkward because I was like, oh no, like this is kind of weird because like her and I are not like not on bad terms, because obviously like I'm not mean to anyone in class or anything like that. I just kind of like, I'm like, when she's like, but I'd be like, oh, that's neat, and then I just kind of like am quiet. Because in school I don't like to make a scene whenever possible. So in this situation, I'm like, what do I do? Because I don't really want to like her, and I don't think she's being very good to my friend. And then like 2 seconds later, one of his friends like comes up to me in the middle of like everything going on. It's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we all hate her. And then I was like, wait, for real? And then they were like, yeah, because she like does these kind of things, and we always like try and like keep an eye out for him. But it's just like it's kind of just like an emotion abusive relationship, and we're trying to help. And I was like, I'm glad that this isn't like a horror story that ends badly, and in fact, we are all cognizant of the issues at present, and we all talked about it, and it was nice and good. And that's the story. Everything turned out really well, and I had a good time.
Nice.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice catching up with people who I haven't seen in a long time.
I miss fires. I really want to go to one sometime soon.
I went to one on Friday, and then a friend of mine and I had a fire last night.
That's fun.
My parents have a fire ring, so I'm probably going to go visit under the guise of being a good son and being like, hello, parents, how are you doing? And then I'm going to have a fire and make my dad cook wings on the grill.
Hey, no, doesn't your mom listen to this podcast?
Yeah. This is me giving her a heads up so she can also buy
She'll
the wings,
never
and
see
I
it
don't have to buy them. Like,
I see.
this is big, like, next level big brain moves.
You know what? That's my problem. I'm not big enough brain moves.
Yeah, there's ways to make big brain moves, Dan.
You should just cook the
have
wings
faith
on a
in you
fire
to figure it out.
I'm a big fan of cooking things on like an open flame, and if it wouldn't work for most reasons, you just use tinfoil. Put it in tinfoil and just throw it in there.
There you go.
Doesn't matter what it is.
I love that. I still remember back when I was a kid, we had a neighbor who used to get high off of like wood varnish. Problematic neighbor at best. His caretaker came over one time when this man, we called him Pappy. That's what he was like. He just was like, call me Pappy.
Oh, no.
And
call me Pappy.
And
you got any wooden varnish?
Whatever you're imagining he looked like is probably accurate.
Turpentine.
And this dude,
I'm sorry, but I'm just imagining Dan's D&D character.
Yeah, basically. Fair.
Make him
super
tall, and you got it.
No.
But yeah, this guy, his caretaker came over one time when Pappy was crashing one of our family campfires. We're out, making s'mores. It was summer. I was like 6 or 7. And his caretaker came over with a meal wrapped in foil and was like, oh, Lee, didn't know you were going to be over here instead for your dinner, and threw the meal right in the middle of the freaking coals that we were using to cook. And he's like, here, I'll heat this up for you so you can eat some nice real food. And that old man got so angry because...
That's really rude.
Well, here's the thing.
Was it done in like a rude way, or was he genuinely being like, this is cold, we should heat it up in the coals?
It was legitimately cold. Pappy did not bring this food over with him. He was ready to just mooch off of us and get like s'mores.
A classic, yeah.
But here's the thing.
Classic Pappy maneuver.
Exactly. The caretaker had to take care of him, and he could not keep track of this man to save his life. It was absurd.
My God.
And it's just like, okay, hey buddy, can you get this? Like, there was no good way to be like, can you please keep this man off of our property?
Can you come get your mans?
Like, come on, guy. It's not a huge request, in my opinion.
I agree. That's not a huge request, no.
But it apparently was. So yeah, you know how it is.
unfortunate.
I was gonna my friend and I were gonna make s'mores last night, but Sheets doesn't sell marshmallows.
Really?
So yep, it's the worst. It's it was heartbreaking. It was a very sad realization, and everything else was closed because it was past like 9. So what can you do?
Cry.
Hang your head in shame and
Everything is closed early now. I don't want to be that guy that like sits here and complains about that because that's a shitty spot to be. However,
it's true.
I also
you're gonna do it anyway.
I am gonna complain a little bit because it's like I do miss being able to go to Walmart at like 1 a.m. because there's
as someone who functions solely at like 6 a.m. and only like 6 a.m. I'm going to sleep. It's bad,
I miss being able to do things when like no one else
When it was
was
3 in the morning.
around. It was nice.
It's true. I do love 3 in the morning.
But if
There's
we're being
reasons for
honest,
it, yeah.
I'm not going to mind if we never do this again because that's kind of like some quality of life for the employees. There are some people that really do like working at those hours and like more power to them, but some people don't and they're kind of more forced to. And if we don't go back to having 24-hour stores, it isn't the end of the world. But also if I were traveling, I also want access to 24-hour things. So like it's a I was going to say it's a two-sided candle. And
No, because the side is I benefit, and the other side is it kind of sucks for a lot of people. But also, like,
it's a
I
coin.
don't say it has to, but like gas stations just kind of have to be 24/7.
They really do.
Yeah.
Although I guess because we're almost no one except for me uses cash anymore. Like you don't have to go inside the gas station every time. I guess a lot of people probably just don't.
A lot of places will not be. They won't have their pumps open 24/7 if the inside isn't though.
True.
Really?
Yeah.
That does make a lot of sense because you probably got to have someone there to like monitor for people like stealing gas and
Stealing gas,
other
if something explodes and catches on fire, you gotta, be safe. The usual.
have an attendant.
That reminds
And
me.
if you have an attendant, you might as well have the inside open as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt anything. The employee inside knows that they have a pretty good chance of being able to go to the bathroom and no one will ever appear. So like, it's pretty much a win-win all around.
The biggest win of all is that the employee can go to the bathroom.
Ugh.
Nope.
I hated
I guess
working
this guy
overnight.
hates the bathroom.
Oh,
I mean, that literally was a problem when I worked overnight.
I used to like working overnight, but I also worked at a restaurant overnight.
I worked at a convenience store overnight, and that was a nightmare because people, I don't know if you guys are aware, crazy thing, kind of fucking suck. They suck a lot. People are just the worst.
Different experience at a restaurant.
Really?
They're sick as hell, yeah.
Wild.
Sometimes you have to call the cops on people when they're like screaming or when they come in and like they are just doing like drugs in the lobby. But most of the time, they're just fun.
how often did that happen?
Like once a month.
No, that's not that bad.
Well, no, it really isn't when you consider the place is open like 24/7, 364. Because on Christmas, it starts at 3 p.m.
I respect that they close it all on Christmas. I wish they had closed like, more, but hey, any is good. Any is good.
Animal. Yeah. But Tuesday nights were the most fun though, because it would just be the overnight person who would be me in this situation, and then the manager. And I can probably just straight up say his name because he doesn't work there anymore. And I think he got a big lump settlement in the mail and then moved to Florida. I don't know what from or if that's even true. I don't know what happened, but Tim moved to Florida. Tim was the best manager of all time because he would just do things like walk around he'd be like, I'm gonna go walk the perimeter. Okay, now that's not Tim. He's like, all right, I'm gonna walk the perimeter. and then he would leave for like 2 hours. But he wouldn't like leave. He would just be like out back smoking weed.
I love it so much.
He was great. Yeah, no, I loved it too. But on Tuesdays it would just be like him and I, and then or if someone else was there and him. And that was it. There's no like cooks, nothing like that. So I also had like cooked the food. So you would literally like, go out, take someone's order, get them drinks, take their food order, go back in the kitchen and make it. And the kitchen had like a classic diner style, like the customers could see into it, like into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So like they could see you and you could like talk to them while you were cooking, like making their pancakes and be like, hey, you guys want like bananas in them? And they're like, you guys have bananas? I'm like, yeah, we have bananas. They're like, yeah, put some bananas in them.
Amazing.
It was a good time.
I love that.
And you get like a bunch of drunk people who were like really cool.
Nice.
And then
Yeah,
you
my
get,
drunk people were not cool.
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately the drunk people who go to like bistro version of IHOP are probably not the same as the drunk people who go to like convenience stores. Or not necessarily the same. They're the same people, just different days,
Mm-hmm.
They're in a different,
totally
they're
different
having
energy.
a different night.
Yeah.
Like if you're going out to get some like pancakes at 3 a.m. after getting really smashed with your friends, that's a different night than like separating and then getting an Uber to the the local country fair or whatever. I guess 7-Eleven is like an actual universal one except for this area, so like the local like 7-Eleven, and then getting like some Gatorade and going home. It's a different. You're having a different night,
a different vibe.
Yeah, totally different energy.
But yeah, the when they were having the pancake nights, it was great. They were so happy to have pancakes, and you'd bring them out, and they would just be like, "Oh my god, thank you." Like people never really get like mad when they're like, there's like if you're like really drunk waiting for food, like they never got mad. They would just be kind of like stupid.
Yeah.
And then when the food came out, it was like a life-changing moment for them.
Yeah, they suddenly see God.
Yeah, it was just like everything sucked, and I didn't really know where I was. But in this moment, it is good.
I see.
And I
see
have
the
pancakes with bananas.
Yeah. That energy I at least got. We would do like when I like would sell food of some kind or another, and it's like, oh yeah, your food's ready. Here, take your food and get out of my store.
Yeah.
The absolute joy of a person who has suddenly realized that
they have food.
There's food for them.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
Absolutely.
On my on my 21st birthday, I did in fact drink, perhaps to excess.
Oh my!
I was not filled with the fruits of the spirit, but rather I was drunk with wine, as I was told to not do.
I can't believe
I
I
can't believe
have
you would.
never done that.
Sometimes you get a bit uncouth. What can I say? And
Nothing.
Anyway, so you guys, I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a fast food chain in Texas called Whataburger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fast food Texas thing. It's pretty good, and it's open. All of them are open 24/7. So that's like their big draw. Is like if it's a Whataburger, it's open 24/7. So unlike the McDonald's, where like, is this one 24/7 or is this one closed at 11? You're just like, it's a Whataburger. It is no matter what open 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of how Sheetz is as well, where Sheetz is like all Sheetz are open 24/7.
Fun fact: there are only I think 2 7-Elevens in the entire United States that aren't 24/7.
Really?
And they are located in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Interesting.
I wonder if it's just like
is a bunch of garbage people.
Is this the part where
my
you spin
friend
it?
Benjamin
Yes.
Franklin,
You
even
might have
him.
heard of
Benjamin
him.
Franklin. Benjamin
I never
Franklin
met
was a
the guy,
trash
actually.
monster. He was a beautiful
Yeah.
man, but he was a trash monster.
I never met the guy. I lied about him being my friend. In fact, he was dead before I was ever born.
Well, why would you lie about that?
I don't know if I thought you might call me out on it, but then it seemed like you guys thought that he and I were friends. So I just needed to clarify that he was actually dead before I was born.
Benjamin Franklin and I have never met. I've never met this man before in my life.
I can't believe it, Dan. You're not even a real Philadelphian if you're saying that heinous stuff about Benjamin Franklin.
He didn't say that. I'm saying that.
But he repeated it?
No, I did say that Benjamin Franklin was a garbage
you've never
monster.
met him?
Yeah, he is.
I thought you just kind of.
Even if he didn't say
I thought
it,
so.
he did repeat the words, which I would, I would argue
Wait, what
that
did he
is
repeat?
just as bad.
Wait, what did he say?
He said that he didn't know Benjamin Franklin and that he was a garbage person. I don't know, man. That seems
to Noah.
It seems to me like he hates
Now
Philadelphia.
we've all said it.
Wait a minute,
Now
Patrick.
we all hate Philadelphia.
I mean, yeah, obviously, I live here.
Hey, forget about it. That's what they say in Philadelphia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's a
Ronnie,
classic
give me
Philadelphian
Hey,
accent.
Ronnie, get me one of them cheese steaks. Hey, forget about it. I'm walking here. Eagles.
Yeah, that's basically
Thank
you've
you.
basically summed up walking down the street in Philly.
Wow, I'm glad to know that I've had. So
You've
I've
had
got
the
my
true Philly
finger
experience.
on the pulse of a nation,
Well,
or at
Philadelphia.
least a city. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't remember it.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
I respect it.
I just totally forgot what we were talking about. Oh yes, so my 21st birthday, I was belligerent. Not actually belligerent, just inebriated. I was just drunk. I was very nice. And that's part of the story. So back in the vein of drunk people being incredibly grateful for food when they receive it. My friend Sam, who I may have told the ballad of Neanderthal Sam before on the podcast.
I had to make sure which Sam you're talking about for a second there.
I don't believe you have had told that story.
I have
'cause-
not told the ballad of Neanderthal. I don't know if I should. It's like a chapter. It's like from I don't want to say the darkest chapter in my life, but like the most wild, I suppose you could say.
Mhm.
When I ran with the more lively and perhaps one could say dangerous crowd.
Okay.
One could say that hypothetically.
Neanderthal Sam is he's a relic of that. We don't call him that because I guess I have to tell you why we call him Neanderthal Sam.
You do kind of
Sorry,
have to do that.
The rabbit hole just continues on. Eventually, I'll tell you what happened with Whataburger when I was 21. Okay, so my first day when I worked at the big restaurant, like the one, like the really big one. when I worked there, like one of my first days, first or second day, this guy came up to me. His name was Sam, and he gets like real close to me. He's like, "Hey Jackson, do you think Neanderthals are real?" And I was like, "Well, Sam, it's a tricky question because at a time, yes, but I don't think you could find one nowadays."
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being like, that's a reasonable take, he was like, well, I think that, again, he's saying this very clearly, like he's ASMRing this to me. Like he's like, this is, no one else around us is hearing this. He's like, this is like a personal, it's a one-to-one, it's a heart-to-heart. He's like, well, I think that there was like Neanderthals, right? And then there was like these like fourth dimensional gods that came down and they bred with Neanderthals. And that's where we came from. I was like, well, Sam,
That's a take.
I'm glad you think that,
Yeah, I'm glad that he has that opinion. That's nice of him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was like my first interaction with this man.
That was your first interaction.
No, like I had like said like hi to him, so he knew my name. But this was like my first actual like conversation with him.
That's a strong first interaction.
Oh yeah. So I went back and I obviously told my roommate, and then and later point in time I was like, hey, I'm gonna hang out with my coworker Sam in a little bit. I don't know if you want to like come by. And he was like, Neanderthal Sam, and then it just stuck.
Yeah, and the rest, as they say, is history.
So yeah, that's why I still call him Neanderthal Sam. Never to his face because I didn't want to like have to re-explain the story because I know he did not remember saying that to me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of became Neanderthal Sam to my friends and I.
Amazing.
I've got a lot of Neanderthal Sam stories, and this is one of them. So my 21st birthday, Neanderthal Sam got me, real boozed up.
Okay.
As a good friend does.
It culminated in there's some other stories within the night, but I don't know how many of them are podcast appropriate. Okay, this one definitely is. But the night basically ended up with me waking up in a storage container that was below Sam's house, which was right near the lake.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disclose which one because I may implicate Sam in some other more nefarious activities at a later date. But it was right by a lake, and he had like a storage container underneath the house that was like a recording studio.
Yeah.
And I woke up in there and I didn't really know where I was. But that's how that night ended. But right before then, record scratch. Yep, that's me. What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's what happened right before then.
Like, are you just like are you just clawing the wall?
I think this is my favorite reoccurring bit.
The wall
is Jackson's cats being little bastards.
What are you doing?
Well, they stop acting like little bastards.
Come here. Stop doing that.
I suppose this is true.
No, you're so small. Come here. No, come here. Sorry. Yeah, my cat was just like literally just scratching my wall. Is there a mouse in the wall or something?
I mean, I guess there might be, but
you better don't. You contemptuous witch. Hello, you're so small. You're so small.
So little.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I do feel like at least, and almost every episode of the podcast, I stop whatever I'm doing and go, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
because one of my cats is doing something stupid. Because believe it or not, if I don't talk to them for like apparently 45 minutes and 34 seconds, it just goes off the rails.
Absolutely off the chain hook.
And like it's trying to scratch, it's trying to claw the wall. Giblet's out there. He's being good. He's just laying on the floor.
Oh, little buddy.
Yeah, they require constant reaffirmation of their own existence and that they are in fact benign.
Mm-hmm.
They're so little, and that they're also small.
Yeah, you got to tell them how small they are. Otherwise, how will they know?
Always. Sometimes I ask them. I'm like, "How'd you get so small?"
Mm-hmm. How would they know if you didn't tell them?
Exactly. They don't even know how they got so small. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Imagine if you were that small.
Personally, I know how I got so large, and it's fried foods.
There you go.
So I don't know where their question is. I don't know where their confusion comes from.
What's the absolute inverse of fried foods?
Grilled foods, I suppose. No, it's the opposite.
Yeah, that doesn't seem. I
don't know what the inverse of fried foods is. Maybe just raw foods. This sucks. Let's go back to the bit I don't even want to tell the story. The story. Here's the thing I've done. I've done the thing. I just did a bad thing. You know the TikTok. I did the thing where I was going to tell a story 15 minutes ago. That was a fine story were it to have lasted a minute. Everyone would have been like, that was an okay story. That was relevant at the time. But now it's not going to be good. I'm going to tell a story and you're going to be like, we talked about that 20 minutes ago and it's not even relevant. Like the end of the story isn't relevant anymore. It's not even funny. There's no good part of it and I can't also just be like, I'm not going to tell the story because then everyone will be like, why didn't you just tell the story? Because the story's not good. The story's not a 15-minute wait good. We just suck at telling stories. Okay, I just suck at telling stories. And here
I've
we are.
told exactly one story in my entire life.
Was it the greatest story ever told?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago?
Yeah, you figured it out.
No, play like the little from Cell Block Tango.
I don't think they're. I
Yeah,
don't think you can do
can-
that.
There's like a little nice little sting, I guess you could call it.
You could call it that.
Intro. Yeah, put that in there for like a second.
I don't know what it is, so I probably won't remember by the time I'm editing this, but I'll see what I can do.
All right. Noah saw what he could do. If it happened, it was cool and he could do it. If it didn't, he saw what he could do and it wasn't enough. And that's fine, because knowing your limitations is very important. And you know who didn't know their limitations? Me on my 21st birthday. That's right.
There it was. There it was.
That's right.
I was waiting for it.
I really want to just like smash this glass on my desk, but I'm not that dumb.
And also not a psychopath.
I mean, it would have been pretty good for
Probably.
the bit, though. I did hit my desk a lot, so sorry
Just
about
hit
that,
your
Noah.
desk and let Noah put in like a crash sound effect.
Yeah, Noah put in a crash sound effect after I say I was going to break a glass, so everyone thinks I did it. I can still keep this part in where I said that I... that you
Everyone
were
thinks
putting
he's
the sound
super
effect in.
cool.
I'll just make it sound like
And
the
then-
most stock glass break. Like you can hear the Wilhelm scream in the background.
Yeah, you can put that in there too if you want. I don't know. Just do whatever you want, Noah. I don't care.
Nice.
You know, it's funny. We're like 50 minutes into the episode. Well, I'm 50 minutes into recording because I started recording probably way before you guys. And I haven't even talked about the fact that I went to Virginia.
I feel like we talked about nothing this entire episode.
Yeah, it's true.
That's okay,
I've
because
been telling the same bad story for 20 minutes now.
it do be like
And I
that
don't even wanna tell
sometimes. But you know what? Sometimes it just works out.
And I had it back on track, right? And then you know what we did?
Mhm.
We made a bit out of it. I slapped the desk. Everyone laughed. We broke glass.
It was pretty intense.
And here we are.
Yeah, it was a good bit. But I just don't even want to tell this. I'm not telling the story. I'm not telling the story.
Just tell the story.
No, I'm not
Tell
telling the story. I'm done
You want the
telling
sto-
stories.
We can't handle the story.
I was like, my friend was like, I'm going to tell the bad version. I'm not going to tell like the, no theatrics. One of my friends was like, hey man, it's your birthday. You want some Whataburger? I'll get you some Whataburger. And I was like, you can't drive. And he was like, why? I was like, well, because I'm drunk. That's the whole story.
That's a pretty good story. No,
I'm not gonna
that
tell
is
the
a
rest
pretty
of
good
it.
story, though.
And then the food came in, and I was really happy. And he was like, also, I can drive because I'm not drunk, you are. And I was like, oh, word.
You ever get so drunk you
And
forgot that your friends
this-
can still drive you around? Because Jackson
Yes.
has.
And then also, thank you for humoring the end of the story.
It's a
dude,
good end of the story,
I think you
though.
had a story there.
It's a good end of the story. I did have a story there, but we killed it, over time.
I think my favorite part of it was how much it was built up, and then immediately you were like, nah, this is actually a terrible end of the story. I'm not even going to tell it. And then you brought it back around. I think that's what made it really funny for me.
You're lying. It's okay. You don't. I'm not hurting because of the story. You don't have to. You give me your orator's sympathies.
I think it's funny.
Thank you. Noah.
I do also think it is pretty funny.
Thank you as well, Dan. Guys, this sucked. I hated this.
Wow,
I've just
you
been
can't say that.
I've been talking nonstop for 20 minutes, and I've said 3 things total. And
Yeah,
one
man.
of them was me yelling at my cat.
Dude, listen, that's basically this podcast.
I talked for the
Yeah,
first
what
20
point?
minutes. I think it's time for Dan to talk for 20 minutes. Dan,
I don't have to.
talk
Dude, I
in a
don't have
pirate
20 minutes
voice
left
for
in me.
5 hours.
I
So
went to Virginia.
what-
Oh, yeah, we do have that story, too.
Tell your Virginia
Like I
story
just-
because I don't want to talk about the fact that I made a horrible mistake and talked in a pirate voice for 5 hours.
Dan talked in a pirate voice on stream for 5 hours straight, and so unfortunately, Dan is
My
not
voice is
happy
shot.
with his voice. Yeah,
My voice
it's-
is so shot. It hurts
It's
to
a bad
talk.
thing to do, but you can find the stream probably on Twitch somewhere, the VOD,
For now.
because they auto
There's
archive for
always
like
a VOD.
60 days. So yeah, find the VOD. Or don't.
It was a
whatever.
good time. Whatever. Tell your
Do
Virginia
whatever,
story.
yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah, I went to Virginia. So I had 3 days off work, and I was just like, you know what I could do in 3 days? Go to Virginia. So I worked like Monday morning, and then at like 4 when I got off work, I just went home, and then I just drove to my sister's house in
I respect it.
Virginia. So I got there at like 1 a.m., and I was like, this is cool. Hello. Then we hung out for a couple days, and then I drove back.
Nice.
I like
So I went
that.
to the beach. I saw some dolphins.
Nice.
You saw some dolphins.
Yeah, I saw 2 dolphins.
That's tight.
Yeah, it was very cool. Hung out with my niece. She's 18 months old, so she didn't really, didn't really talk too much.
Yeah, she's not really people yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One cool thing she does though, it's a great bit. If you give her something, or if she just picks something up, she'll just go hat and then put it on her head. It's
That
a
is
good one.
very good.
Like anything?
It's a classic. Anything. She'll just pick something up and go hat and then put it on her head.
Nice.
My siblings used to do that as well. I probably did as
It's a
well,
good
but I
bit.
don't remember that.
It's a classic, yeah.
dude, that is why. Here's a question. Here's an actual, for real, honest to God question. Why are children so much better at comedy than we can ever be?
Because they don't understand
You're
what makes
asking-
things not funny. So they actually are just hilarious because they don't realize that sometimes they're just not funny.
The real
It's
the
confidence.
real question you're asking is why was Jerry Seinfeld so popular?
That's also a really
The
good
answer
question.
may surprise you. It's the same.
True.
But I really tried to get her to get onto the best joke, in my opinion, that is a gag using random objects, which is you picking them up and saying hello, and you hold them
That
to
is
your ear.
also
That
pretty
is
good.
very good.
But I don't think she's old enough to conceptualize hat, but I don't think she's old enough to conceptualize vocalizing over a phone. Like
Okay.
she gets phones and knows like push number button and glow and that like True in the Rainbow Kingdom plays on them. But she doesn't know that you can like conference with others at your will, and in doing so you hold the phone to your ear and say hello. She hasn't quite grasped
She's not
that
quite
one.
there yet. She'll get there.
Yeah. She did this other bit where she would like dunk her face in the water and then stand up and look at you and go, and I was like, that's a good one. And then she did it like 3 times. And then I was sitting with my sister, and, you know, obviously my sister being her mom is like, wow, great. You know, just being supportive.
Yeah.
And after like the 4th time she did it, I was like, Ev, I'm going to level with you. That bit's tired. As
You
your
gotta get some
agent,
new material.
I was like, we need the hat. Like, I get it. Water on the face. Good one. But sometimes you got to put hat in there. You know, hat is a classic. Hat is an all-time. My sister's like, can you stop? And I was like, no, I'm... As her agent, face in the water is good, but you got to put hat in there. Hat it's a crowd pleaser.
There is very few things funnier to me than talking to children who are like, obviously, for, you know, side note, talk to kids like they're adults because they're just tiny adults who haven't figured it out yet. Whatever. But when you talk to a child who is that young, like they are, like
They are baby.
they are very grown and very much know what's going on. It's a gift.
Yeah,
it's the funniest
I talk
bit.
to all children like they're like grown ass individuals,
As you should,
and
to
like
be
not
fair.
to the point where like like I think to a lot of levels like you should definitely like not treat children like exclusively babies. But I will admit that I am a little bit too adult
mature.
with them, where I'm like, like, you know, like my niece will come and like like waddling over to me like, so yeah, I heard it's gonna be 93 tomorrow.
I think that's hilarious though, because one of my
so
favorite
funny.
things is when babies can bust out whole sentences because people just speak to them like they're grown adults. A friend of mine, you met him actually, Jackson, at that one show at the smoking bar.
Yeah, I did.
His daughter, 4 years old, walks around talking like an adult. And it was always very funny because another friend of ours that we used to hang out with also had a 4-year-old daughter who was spastic and insane. And it just it really highlighted whose daughter belonged to who, because the mom of the spastic kid, she's a very high energy, outgoing person. And boy, howdy, they were identical. But yeah, you know.
It is just like funny how I talk to kids. I'm if I ever have kids, it'll be so funny to see how they turn out. Just because like my sister and her husband are both like talking to my niece and like, oh, can you point to your toes? And then she like does, and like, where's the puppy? And she like points to her dog or like goes hug and hugs the dog. And I'm just like, well, it really looks like the Dow is taking a hit today. So I have no idea what'll happen with my kids.
I love
But
it
another really cool
so
thing I don't
much.
want to forget about mentioning. When I came back, so on like Tuesday or Wednesday when I first got down there, I was like, you know who I have to pass by when I drive back? And I was like, my friend and friend of the podcast, Emma. And so I messaged Emma. I was like, hey, I'm driving back up on Thursday. I was like, can we like hang out for a little bit? And she was like, yeah. And we did. I stopped by and we talked for a little while, but then not just like super long or anything because I did have to drive another like 7 hours still. So, but that was fun. That was very cool. So
I love that.
yeah, it was nice getting to meet. I mean, I've already met Emma. We watched Birds of Prey one time with Noah
This is true.
and Nina.
Boy, oh boy, that
And
was a
it
good
was-
time.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time. Yeah, that was fun. That was the first time I've ever been through DC. Drove and saw the Washington Monument. And I was like, that's cool. But also then I thought about it and I was like,
Is it cool?
ooh, yeah.
I don't
Then
know.
I thought about it,
Mhm.
and I was like, "It's cool." But when were they like, "All right, guys, George Washington, right? first president that's building something. And everyone was like, okay, good call. You know, it's whatever. It's the first president. You gotta do whatever. And then they were like, how should we do that? And somebody in the group had to be like, hey, you guys remember Egypt? Because, oh boy, they built these things. And I think we could put a pool in front of one, right? And then everyone in the group was like, well, I don't know. What else are we going to do? Big cherry tree? Wooden teeth? Give him the obelisk. Like, it makes no sense to me. Why did they get an obelisk?
And did we build that obelisk, or did we, shall we say, import that obelisk?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure we built
because
that
I've
one.
never once looked up the creation of the Washington Monument.
Well, if only we had access to the sum of all humankind's knowledge at our fingertips.
Because, believe it or not, I don't really care about the Washington Monument or George Washington.
Yeah.
But I did see it, and I was kind of like, it does go kind of hard, but it makes no sense though.
No. It was built. Let's see. Construction of the monument began in 1848, halted for 23 years due to lack of funds.
That's
also because of the Civil War, but mostly the lack of funds.
Probably because somebody in their room was like, guys, an obelisk? And everyone was like, yeah, you're right. And then 23 years later was like, yeah, I know an obelisk kind of sucks, but we've already built half of it. And everyone's like, all right, finish the obelisk. That's my prediction. That's what I think happened.
I think my favorite thing about like memorial things like that is how many of them exist and got paused for a very long time because of funds. But then you got like Mount Rushmore, which was funded by an independent billionaire who died before it was finished, and his son finished it instead. The only reason I think it was stopped was because they had issues getting access to like gunpowder.
I did not know that. That is...
Yeah, we looked. Me and Jeff looked it up one time.
Out here doing this now?
Well, because he wanted to.
Because instead they just want to alienate their wage laborers.
Yeah. So here's the thing: he wanted to make a new tourism site for America, and he wanted to make a big ol' thing commemorating different presidents. He did not get to pick the presidents? ? I don't 100% remember. It's either the guy funding it picked the presidents, and the artist did not like that, or the artist picked the presidents and the guy funding it didn't like it. One of the two things happened.
It's very funny.
I think they should have just made it something international, because I feel like saying we need to make a tourist spot in South Dakota for Americans, sure, I get it. You kind of did, because, I think South Dakota wasn't doing so hot at the time. Mm-hmm. Do whatever. I don't care. And I also know literally nothing about Mount Rushmore. I mean, I'm sure it was probably some really shady and shitty, terrible stuff that happened to it, and you could probably just preserve the natural beauty of the area because it's literally like one of the coolest parts of the country. But, if you've got to make a monument and you want to do it on the side of a mountain, why not South Dakota? Mm-hmm. But why an American monument? Why not think big? We need to bring in people from the UK, from France, Belgium, Nigeria, Iberia, the whole peninsula. Bring everybody. Make everybody have something there. Do like a World's Fair, but permanent.
That would be very
in
cool.
South Dakota.
I would actually be pretty here for that. That'd be pretty cool.
I was about to say I miss World Fairs, and I feel like I should clarify. Obviously, never been to one. I miss the concept of a World's Fair. That's kind of cool.
I've been to the Riverwalk in San Antonio, which was the World's Fair grounds at one point.
Ooh.
Of course, the World's Fair wasn't like happening there or anything at the time. But yeah, I feel like they should just do it all the time somewhere, Mm-hmm. Get everybody involved. We've got that's one of the things, if South Dakota, if you need somewhere to build a place where every country and culture can have a showing, you got some space, There's plenty of state lands. You could probably, sustainably build some cool stuff there. Mm-hmm. That could be sick as hell.
That does sound like it could be pretty sick.
World's Fair, South Dakota. Instead of a mountain with old people's face on it, boo. Give me somewhere where I can get latke.
I don't have any argument for this. This sounds
exactly.
like a great idea to me.
Thank you. But of course, they already went with the whole president face thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cowards, all of them.
Where should we put the World's Fair then?
What has even less going on than South Dakota?
I mean, Wyoming, but Wyoming's like got a lot of natural beauty, and it's kind of like, I'm not really on the camp of like, let's just like destroy pretty areas and then put buildings there.
There's got to be somewhere that has like ugly areas that we can destroy.
The Great Plains. What's
the
Kansas,
Grand Canyon done for anyone like recently?
Come on, you're gonna take a shot at the Grand Canyon right now?
I'm just saying it's a big hole in the ground. We can put some roller coasters in that. We could put a casino somewhere. We could put in a megaplex. There's room for a mall. There's like room for 13 malls down there, I think.
This guy goes, you know what sucks? The Grand Canyon.
We fill that thing up with water, make it a giant hydro dam.
Wait, Dan, do you think the Grand
I'm
Canyon
not
also
gonna lie
sucks?
to you. I'm kind of here
Wow.
for Noah's read.
What? No.
Wow.
No. Why would you side
It's
with
a big
that?
rock.
Why would you side with that? That's an
It's a big hole
objectively
in the
bad
ground.
take.
I love the idea of a roller coaster in the Grand Canyon. That's really what sold me.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. That like the idea
That
of
sounds sick
that
as
is
hell.
That does sound cool, but
That
come
sounds
on,
so
guys.
fucking sick. Now, Jackson, I know you don't give a shit about Star Wars, but Noah,
Believe it or not, I don't.
talk about like a trench run through the Grand Canyon.
no, it's
a
too
trench
big.
run. Is that a Star Wars thing?
It can't all be that big. You gotta have some parts that are small enough.
Did I miss
Nah,
something?
because the
Why is
thing
a
about the
trench run
Grand
a Star
Canyon
Wars
is that
thing?
it's a Grand
Did these guys not
Canyon,
hear
not a
about
little
World War I?
bitch canyon.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
it's
it's a
wait till they
big
find out about World War I.
canyon.
You get trench foot in a trench run?
It's a Star Wars thing. It's
know
not
what we
like
should
not
do?
like a
Speaking
not like
of-
a trench like a World War II trench. A trench like with
Oh,
doing
we should
Like a
have
giant
World War I.
space station trench. You wouldn't
like a giant
understand.
space station trench.
So,
Yeah, I was
You know
trying
what?
to think
I've
of
actually changed my mind on everything. You know what area sucks and I don't like anyway, and doesn't have like any implications where you're destroying nature or like native lands?
New York City?
Space.
Ooh,
Space. New York City is also bad take.
I think I saw someone tweeting about how they were already concerned about space pollution. I'm like,
Oh
yo,
yeah, no, we are.
we're like barely even in space
Pollution.
yet. This cannot be a problem yet.
No, yeah, it's space junk. We have a huge
Yeah.
problem with space junk that's going to become a much bigger problem as time goes on because we aren't cleaning it up and we don't know how to clean it up yet. But essentially, there's like a bajillion tiny pieces of matter in orbit that are just a fucking field of junk.
Send it to the sun or something. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean that is the theoretical best case, but like we don't have
Here's my idea: space net, and you pick up the space junk with it, and then you throw it really hard at the sun.
In theory, I'm sure that is a great idea. I don't know the
Thank you.
logistics of this, and it sounds very
I
difficult.
do. I know the logistics.
You're right. You strap a big net to two rockets on that one rocket on either side.
And then you do a full orbit of the Earth, but it has to be a really big net, so it gets like comically overstuffed, and then you have the rockets fly into the sun. Speaking of space, I watched like the first episode of that Netflix show, Space Force, and I think it sucks.
Michelle and I watched all of it.
I was gonna say I saw some of it and it looked
I
kind of
watched
fun.
2 episodes.
Here,
My problem with it is that like it's not as funny as it should be, and it's also like weirdly there's a lot of drama and like tension.
it's nearly
It's
not
like-
nearly as funny nor as dramatic as it should be for either of
Yeah,
those two
it's
the two
like
roles.
weirdly it's trying to be actually like a drama at times and trying to be funny at times, and it just kind of when you try and make your dramas funny, they just kind of fall flat. It'd be like if Game of Thrones also just had like
A laugh track.
a comic relief character.
like slapstick humor. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. If like Jon Snow like slipped and fell and was like, "Oh, looks like Longclaw's broken. We've got to take like a side route." And there was like a little like side story in the episode where they had to like glue it back together so that the other members of the Night's Watch wouldn't find out. But then at the same time, like people are still actively being like slaughtered and there's tension. You're like, "Where am I going?" You just lose me.
I liked the read that rather than reading it than watching it as a comedy, it should be considered a surrealist drama, and I kind of get where they were going for with that. I still think it failed. I don't think it it's not a good show. It's okay. I've seen much worse television or whatever you want to call it. It's television. I think Michelle and I's huge problem with it was the pacing is fucking hog wild.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not a spoiler. The whole show, it revolves around like the core idea of, oh, the president wants boots on the moon by 2024, right? But then you just immediately skip to like 2 years into that process.
Yeah, that's all. That was very weird.
And you kind of like...
Is it operating under the assumption Trump wins re-election? Because
no, it is taking place like it is a comedic. They never say like obviously the
I know
president's
they
name or
just
anything,
say
but it
the
is
president. But I also know they make
Yeah.
jokes about the president tweeting. So
yeah,
I
it's
assume
very much
It's weirdly parody.
yeah.
Of
It's
like,
very
it almost is like the SNL parody where you're like,
and
we get it. Uh-huh.
it has like an AOC parallel, like it, and I will say, to the show's credit, 2 things that stood out to me as phenomenal. Well, 3. The set design is amazing. Whoever they got for their set designer did a phenomenal job. Every single scene has just amazing set design.
Nice.
Their costume department in design, like all their design work on that is amazing. And honestly, to me, the characterization of everybody is really good. Like there was only one character in the show that I'm like, oh, that is not only is that a shitty person, but also just not a good character.
Yeah.
But the characters across the board for everyone else had like some actual like layers and depth to them that I was a little surprised by, that I did not expect. But
And John Malkovich is there.
Oh, he was phenomenal. He was like the best part of that show.
I saw him in that. I liked what I really did enjoy what I saw, but I don't know how down I am for a government comedy at the moment, so I'm probably not going to watch it for a little while.
Don't bother. I am kind of holding out hope that they get a season 2 and they figure out what the hell they're doing with it.
Mhm.
Michelle has already said she is not going to watch a season 2 if it comes out. I probably
That's
would,
fair.
just by the virtue of I really enjoy some of the stuff they did.
We'll likely never watch any more of it. 'Cause
That's
I didn't
just
really like it,
super
and I watched
acceptable.
it because I was with my sister, and she was like, "Yo, we should try watching this because
Because she loves
I
The
know you're in
Office.
town and it's late at night. You can't do anything else, and I like The Office." So I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" We watched the first episode, and we were like, "Well, this wasn't very good, but
Mhm.
I don't know. We want to watch the second and see if it gets better." And then we did, and it didn't, so we stopped.
Yeah, it doesn't really get better. There are some parts that are really funny and some parts that are just not. And like, as somebody
I
who
did
used
really like his assistant though.
his assistant's
he
really
was-
funny.
he was very
Fuck
cute.
Tony is very funny.
Fuck Tony was very fun. It's
Fuck-
Ben Schwartz, and he just is
I love Ben
your
Schwartz.
classic Ben Schwartz. Yep.
I don't know what else I've seen him in actually. I know
Parks
the
and
name.
Rec.
I just don't know what I've actually.
He
What?
also
Yeah.
he was
His Parks and Rec role is
Jean Ralphio in Parks and Rec.
That means
which
nothing
is
to
very
me.
similar to. It's very similar to.
Did
Fuck
you
Tony.
watch Parks and Rec?
I did not.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Never appealed to me.
He was
He's
Sonic's
very much
voice
like
actor.
your very tech savvy, metrosexual type guy. in
Okay.
Parks and Rec. And his character is super beloved by all, but he's also like very much a terrible person who is super exploitative. So he kind of gets a lot like the Fuck Tony character is just a lot like
Okay.
him.
Yeah. Hugely
In Parks and Rec
loved
anyway.
Fuck Tony. It was fine. I won't tell people to go watch it, but I enjoyed it. Just like,
Yeah.
I think that its pacing was terrible. That's like its biggest problem to me. Like the Boots on the Moon in 2024 should have been like the fact that you couldn't. It's not a spoiler. They get to the moon, whatever. Fucking, but that should have been like the season 1 finale. Is them Boots on the Moon, and you still have 4 episodes left in the season.
Oh no, that's bad. Yeah, no, that's bad.
Yeah. It's just not well paced at all. And like that, even then I feel like it should have been like the season 2 finale, because there are like so much going on in the first couple episodes that don't relate to the Boots on. Like it's just
Something
not.
where
It's
they,
just really
they
poorly
could have
paced.
set themselves up for a season 2, but instead
They could've
they blew it halfway through season 1, and it now feels awkward.
They could have set themselves up for 3 seasons with what they get done in season 1. And the problem,
Well,
and then go ahead.
I feel like honestly, part of the problem is like the entire idea of the show. Like
Really?
Parks and Rec, it works because it's like a government comedy, but it's just like a small town government, and it's satirical but still like feasible and fictional. And whereas like Space Force just seems to me like it's really like trying to, I don't know, like make a weird statement the whole time, and it's just like it's too real.
Yeah,
because
didn't
it's
know.
like
I'll
actively
agree.
on all levels a violation of like the Geneva Conventions and the
Mhm.
idea of not the Geneva Conventions, but whatever the weaponry and space
the space
pact is.
fucking
yeah,
treaty or
the
whatever.
one that says like please don't bring guns to space.
Mhm.
You actually are allowed small arms in space, though.
They address to their credit, they do address like some of the like some of that. Some of that is actually like brought up as like, hey, we can't be doing this. And then of course it becomes but the president said do it anyway, so who gives a shit? And it's like, it's just, I think the show could have done really well. I think that the core concept to me works. The idea of this is a new branch of government that just does not have its shit together works for me, because the U.S. government is a trash pile. Not
It's
even
just
a hot
kind
take.
of it's harder for me to get even like a little bit behind, because like the core of the show is like this guy, he's not this guy, whoever I don't know, I can't remember the main character's like actual name.
I can't either off the top of my head.
Steve Carell's character. Either way.
There we go.
He's kind of like, he's like really gung ho about it, and he's but he's not a terrible guy at the end of the day. He just wants what's best, and like he actively is participating in what is an international war crime. And it's like, it's really hard for me to be like, maybe he is just a goofy guy sometimes, or any of the characters are, because the entire premise of the show is like, hey, what if we just violated a ton of international laws and put a whole bunch of weapons in space? Like
I mean,
the first
that's-
episode, they're like, hey, this is the thing we're gonna put in space and just destroy other nations' satellites. And I'm like, that is incredibly dangerous. First of all, to even think about doing that, and then to let alone like do it, and have the show like the premise be it, and like, but it's kind of silly. I don't know. That's
I
why
get
that's
that.
one of the things that really turned me off of it.
That's fair. That's super fair. So that's our review of Space Force. Don't watch it. Not worth your time.
Good review.
Unless
Whatever you
you
want.
Unless you want to, in which case, go for it, man. Live your best life.
Yeah. The real review is my cat is yelling again.
Nice. Good cat.
Well, don't yell at me.
So I do have some things to say today too.
Yes,
Okay.
we are near the end. We've been recording for way too long. It is time.
Not way too long. It's just the end of the episode. And since we had a guest for the first episode of the month, we are instead waiting till the second episode, to do patron shout-outs. So we got 4 shout-outs. And we got to separate how we call them the shout-outs and the ones where they make us say something. Because
I mean,
I
one
call
is a
them
shout
both
out.
shout-outs, and they're not all shout-outs. 2 of them are shout-outs, and 4 of them are them making us say things.
Yeah, but I feel like you just call them shout outs, the ones that are shout outs, and the others are, hey, you can make it say things. Like they don't need their own title.
Ambiguous thing. But anyway,
shout-outs.
so shout out to Edge and Michael in the $5 tier. Welcome, or
Good job,
not
Edge and
welcome,
Michael.
but thank you for hanging around. Thank you for being here. Greatly appreciate you.
Roll Tide.
Now, Cloud, Hi, Sam, and Emma all have things for us to say. Dan, if you could read what Sam has to say.
Sam just said that she just wanted me to tell everyone about Emma's soup that she made when she came down, because I've brought it up on the podcast before, but it was really good, and I miss Emma and her soup.
I feel like it is important to say this is the only time in your life you have ever enjoyed sour cream in something.
Correct, as far as I'm aware.
And you know what?
The only time I've ever known that sour cream is in something and then still ate it and then went back for seconds.
There you go.
10 out of 10 soup. I think
I
Emma
love soup.
she gave the cookie recipe to Michelle, I think, not the soup recipe. I need to get that fucking soup recipe from her at some point.
It's recipe.
All right. Hi wanted me to say paella.
Oh my god.
Somehow
He did
He's
say
done
it
it.
on stream.
He's done
It
it.
was very funny.
I said it again while looking at it thinking, gotta make sure I don't say that one wrong again. And then I just opened right up with a paella. So I do know
You're
it's
bad at
paella.
life.
I don't know what paella is, but I know it's
It's like
not
a rice
pronounced
dish that uses
paella.
saffron.
So,
Yeah, it's Spanish cuisine. It uses saffron is like the big thing that it's known for.
oh, I do love saffron rice.
I've never had.
That's like a core part of paella.
Yeah, someday I'll have it.
Saffron's too
But not
expensive for
today.
me to ever buy and have around to use. So someday.
Only if you're a coward.
No, I think it's just too expensive.
Yeah, if you're a coward.
It's also pronounced saffron.
Saffron.
Saffrons.
All right.
All right, next.
Cloud
Rude.
says, "Bless y'all and stay safe. Thanks for still doing this as you do." No problem,
Aw.
Cloud. It's
The problem with that is that danger is my middle name, baby.
It's not.
Are you sure?
I can't win them all. Yeah, my
I'm
middle
pretty
name's not
confident.
Danger. Be pretty cool though, right?
It
It would be pretty
It would
sick.
be pretty cool. All right, and Emma would like us to say Black Lives Matter, and I think that is a very reasonable thing to say. I think also all of us instead of just me. It kind of makes
yes,
sense.
Black
yes.
lives do in fact matter.
It's
I know
true.
it's a crazy
I did
take.
say I said it
apparently.
earlier and I said it again. Noah, I think you mentioned something about the donation card and Noah's show.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Black Lives Matter movement is super important, and
Yeah.
Black lives do in fact matter.
Yeah.
Maybe we should link the donation card. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm going to link the donation card in the description of the video and of the podcast on the website. You can find it at Off the Air. Oh, geez. It's offtheairpodcast.com?
It's
Sure.
OTApodcast.com, I thought.
No, it's Off the Air.
Works for
No,
me
you
too.
didn't want me to do that. You wanted it to not say OTApodcast.com initially, so we just went with the whole thing. So,
I'm so smart.
It is offtheairpodcast.com. You can find there an easy link to the donate card. Do a quick bit of research if you're not sure who to give to find out who needs the money the most right now, or the bail funds. Do something. That I don't feel like
do something. No, you know what? That's honestly what it is. It's do something.
Yeah. I don't feel like promoting ourselves this week. I think this is kind of an important
Thank
enough
God I'm
thing.
not alone this time.
This is more important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't. I feel like we should say, right?
Mhm.
We don't talk about this kind of stuff on the show very often, not because it's not important or because it doesn't matter, but because we try to let this be a little bit of an escape from how crazy the world is.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of things that like we still need to like acknowledge and bring up and say, hey, like maybe things are broken right now and everything is a mess.
This is true. And if you have a problem with us saying that, honestly, like, I'm
Fuck
not going to
off.
say don't listen to the podcast, but
No,
like,
I will. Don't listen to the
oh,
podcast.
No, hold up. You should learn about why it's important. Because if you're saying that it sucks and you shouldn't be saying these things, what you should actually do is not just like unfollow everyone who says them, but rather learn why so many people care so much about it. Because just being told to run away from situations isn't the solution. You should actually encourage people to educate themselves on the issues, because educated people will consistently have opinions that are in line with these views that Black lives do in fact matter and that minorities are marginally targeted by police.
Yeah.
So I personally am not of the opinion of, if you think that, never listen to the podcast, but if you think that, really think about why and work on making sure you know why you think that, because I believe you're wrong wholeheartedly. And because I believe so wholehearted that you're wrong, I think that if you just actually analyze why you think that and look into the reasons as to why everyone disagrees with you, you might find out that you could be on the wrong side. And it's not shameful to stop thinking that. It's okay to change sides. It's called growth.
Yes.
I feel like that's
my take.
I feel like that's the biggest takeaway that a lot of people don't always realize is growing and changing is not you being weak and backing down on your beliefs. It's you realizing your beliefs maybe aren't as right as you thought they were and that they need a little bit of, tweaking. That's not shameful.
Change is really important. Now, of course, if you listen to the podcast and when I said that you just got mad, fuck you, you suck, and leave. But I think that there's a lot of people who are ignorant to the actual facts that are very real in this world, and I personally am a little bit turned off by a lot of people just saying wholesale fuck you and not actually giving people a chance to find a little redemption arc.
I understand that.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I think it's reasonable to be like, fuck people who suck, because if they suck, they suck, and you don't want them around you. But personally, I'm of the opinion that people who suck, I really want to see them stop sucking.
Yeah.
And if you are a racist shithead, I don't like you and what you stand for, and I don't want you as part of the community, but I want you to change and then be part of the community.
Yeah.
There's room for you here, just not as a terrible person.
Not as you are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Have
that's
a good
fair.
week, guys.
Yeah.
Believe
So
in
long,
yourselves.
farewell.
And
Oh, next week's next week? The week after.
Sure.
No, this is episode 96. We got 4 more weeks till episode 100, the 2-year anniversary.
4
Minus
more
a
weeks.
month.
I thought it was like 2 weeks.
Nope, sorry.
Ugh. All right, bye.
Bye.